Part 2 will make sense without watching Part 1, but you should see Part 1 anyway, because YouTube views! So it's the start of a video, and I haven't been uploading as much recently, so naturally, I have a blazingly amazing cliché excuse. I'm fucking lazy. I was also sick, but that's a shitty excuse. But then it hit me that it's been over 2 months since my last Trading Tales, so let's wrap it up starting here. So you may think that once I got my unusual, everything was hunky-dory, and I immediately fell in love with it and rode into the sunset with it. And I did. But not before trying to sell it for a month though. And some very interesting stuff happened in that time. Now all of the events that took place here were all on the same server, that server being the infamous and now very much dead TF2 trader, all on the same night. I think. And the time these stories are happening is basically when I give up trading, and is my last day selling, I'm just spy crabbing away my remaining keys, and like the last episode, this is 3 stories in 1, because I hate 2-parter episodes. Wait, shit. So the first event had to do with a particular item of mine that I had acquired a few months earlier during my collector's item collecting business. A friend of mine had a Scottish Resistance collector's kit dropped, and he heard how I was in the business of collector's items. So he gave a collector's Scottish Resistance kit to me. 200 weapons later, and I have a shiny, hard-to-read red text item that is no different from a genuine, vintage, or unique item, but it's still expensive because it's rare. Anyway, I was having a hard time selling this item. I'd had it on sale for about 4 months. So I decided to have a little fun with it, and on the day of my trading meltdown, as I'll say, I go to an admin and say, "Hey, I'll give you this item, and you'll organise a mass spy crab for it." And they did. All 22 people on the server went spy and lined up in a big row. One by one, each spy taunts with the disguise kit out, and when one inevitably spy crabs, fucking smited by the admins in a gruesome way. No second chances. This went on for a while, and I was still in. I was in 4th place before I bit the dust. The entire server was freaking out over whether I would win my own prize out of the 22 people there. And to be honest, I would have fully expected the admins to smite me if I'd got to 3rd place, because that's just how they are. Anyway, someone finally wins it, and they get it. Today it now resides in this guy's backpack. The second story happens much later in the day. There was a lot of voice chat going on, and a lot of arguing, but I wasn't particularly paying attention. Until Geel, of all people, comes onto the server.
For those of you who don't know who Geel is, he owns Scrap.tf, Marketplace.tf, and has sponsored events like I-58 and Tip of the Hats.
Now why would he be on an unusual trading server? I'll get to that in the 3rd story. Anyway, I was freaking out because, oh yeah, famous dude on server! I tell him how his site was the reason I made it to unusual trading from nothing, and he took my annoying ramblings very humbly and then proceeded to say,
"Well, if my site got you all the profit you have now, then surely you owe me something back."
Wow. What a dickhead thing to say. But at the time I didn't care, and I even believed him, which just goes to show how easily you can get manipulated by someone you respect. I was blinded by that respect. So I sent him a trade offer, and I added my— oh wait, what the fuck? Why did he add a strange Huntsman's Essentials? And— oh shit! A strange Napoleon Complex! And another one! And another one! A strange Big Chief. He added a couple of other things, and that was his trade. All of that stuff for nothing of mine. My first ever donation from none other than Geel. Yeah, he just pretended to be an asshole, but really he's quite a nice dude. Like an asshole in disguise. Oh fuck, I messed that up. Anyway, looking back, I'm not surprised he does that kind of stuff. I mean, he sponsored I-58 and Tip of the Hats, and he seems like a pretty charitable man. Hell, he even carries around upgrade to premium gifts. I wouldn't be surprised if he just gave them away to free-to-plays he liked. And the 3rd story. This one's a bit convoluted, by the way. That arguing chatter from earlier, what was that all about? Well, I started listening in to the slowly rising commotion. One of the first things I hear is that anyone joining the server with hashtag Shark Week in their name was to get permabanned. Well, that was an odd piece of information. And then another voice comes through. Well, it was worth 3,800 keys, but all he got for it was like half the price. And after a hell of a load of lurking, I found out what was going on. It was complicated and probably the reason Geel joined the server in the first place.
Back then, buds were worth 19 keys, but I shall convert the inflated price for this story.
TF2 Trader is the biggest unusual trading server at the time, and TF2 is an admin. He contacted a very recent unboxer of the Burning Crone's Dome. The Burning Crone's Dome at the time was worth about 3,040 keys, and there were serious offers going for it worth 3,800 keys. Now here's where it gets a little weird. The unboxer knew what kind of price it was worth, since he was the one asking for 950 keys and 950 unusuals in the first place. He even knew about the offers for 3,800 keys in the hat, yet he still traded it for about 1,800 keys to Tiesto. Anyway, Tiesto got the trade. Also, it's worth noting that Tiesto used his status as an admin to convince the unboxer that he wasn't a quote scammer. I doubt the unboxer even knew what a scammer was. Enter Apollo, another admin on the TF2 trader server. While trading buds for keys from Monkey, Tinesto's friend and co-admin, she finds out what the trade went for, and she did not like it. And Monkey didn't like the fact that Apollo disagreed with the ethics. As Monkey said, "Back up your fellow admins." Some more long-winded stuff happened, and as it turns out, the unboxer didn't actually know what the proper price for the unusual was. My best guess is that he went into an unusual trading server and asked how much it was. Someone said it was worth 1,800 keys, and that's how he got the idea that it was worth that much. Apollo ended up getting demoted and banned as a result of pissing off 2 admins over a shady trade. Now this is an interesting trade because you have both sides of the argument, and both of them are technically correct. You can either go the way of Apollo saying that it was kind of a shark, and it was immoral since he paid less than it was worth, roughly half, and gave no indication that it was worth any more. In fact, going so far as to say that it wasn't worth 3,800 keys. Or you can go with the Monkey/Tiesto argument and say that he paid what was asked for, and therefore wasn't a shark. Morals aside, that is. That's not the entire story, but you can see the SteamRec report related to this story in the description. Make up your own opinions from it, discuss it in the comments section. Was this a bad trade? I think that wraps up Season 1 of Storytime, but the